This is Dr. Amie Harwick, licensed marriage and family therapist. Today we're going to talk about self-care. So when I have a client that's struggling with some stuff in life, maybe they've had some anxiety, depression, I check in and ask how their self-care is. But what is self-care? How do we do it and why do we do it? That's what we're going to talk about today. So self-care is something that's initiated by you, it's deliberate, and its intention is to help you function better both mentally and physically. So it's a pretty broad spectrum of what self-care is. But it's anything you're doing for yourself to pay attention to yourself to improve yourself. Self-care is really important. If you're not focusing on self-care, some bad stuff happens. Your immune system goes down. You might get sick more often. You could be stressed out and lash out in your relationships, at work, with your friendships. You're going to not function the way that you should be functioning. You might even feel physically bad. You might experience somatic symptoms like headaches, stomach aches, dizziness, fatigue. If you self-care, that can improve all of these things. Some people find it hard to initiate self-care, and when somebody's struggling with something like depression, substance abuse, anxiety, if they have certain types of medical conditions, it's hard to initiate that self-care. That's when you engage in help. Seek a therapist, help your friends hold you accountable. Have your friend ask you to go on a hike here and there. There's lots of ways that you can hold other people accountable with yourself to make sure that you get those things done. Self-care is also very important for people who are in a caregiver job, therapists, nurses, doctors, even parents. Anytime somebody's job or role, whether it's professionally or personally, is to take care of other people, they get worn down faster. It's that much more important to self-care. In 1943, Maslow created the hierarchy of needs. This hierarchy of needs is demonstrated in a triangle. So think of a triangle, and at the very bottom, the most important and biggest section is physiological needs. That's eating, sleeping, our basic human needs to function. If you're not taking care of these things, you're not going to get to the other things that are more of the fine-tuning, such as relationships or self-actualization. So the first thing I do when I have a client is check in with their eating habits, exercise, activity, sleeping habits. If all these things are met, we get to the next level, which is safety. Safety is important. So feelings of personal safety, emotional safety. If we don't feel safe in our homes and our neighborhoods, if we feel that we could be emotionally or physically attacked at any time, maybe we're being stalked or we live in an unsafe environment, we work in an unsafe environment, we're not going to be able to care for ourselves effectively. So we need to consider these things and make changes if necessary. The next thing is a sense of belonging. We need to have a sense of belonging and friendship. That could be platonic relationships, seeing our friends often, going out for a coffee, going for a hike, engaging in healthy relationships such as romantic relationships or relationships with our family members. This is really important to be able to create a sense of balance in your life. The next thing is self-esteem. So when all those other things are met, we can work on our self-esteem or how we feel about ourselves. We can look at self-efficacy or how well we think we're doing in life. And when that's achieved, we can go to self-actualization, which is meditation, achieving things that we want to achieve, goal setting. So these are all the things that are really important to create the needs that we have in our lives. If we are not attending to these things, we're not going to be able to care for ourselves. Also, self-care has a lot to do with these needs. You can think of all the different ways you can care for yourself based on these categories. So let's think of the things that you can do specifically for self-care. It's a very broad topic, like I mentioned. So it could be something as simple as going for a hike, making sure you sign up at a gym and go to classes, get some exercise in. You can take a look at a clock and say, okay, have I eaten in 4 to 6 hours? Do I need to eat regularly? All of these things are really important for self-care. And when we think about that self-actualization, self-esteem, sense of belongingness, think of the things that you've done that are social lately. Maybe it's finding a meetup group that likes the same TV shows you like and you go to a trivia night. Maybe it's joining a book club. Maybe it's just reading a book and having that meditative time to yourself. All of these things are very important ways to self-care. Physically, what can you do for self-care? Well, you can make sure you go to the doctor regularly, get checkups, get checked for STIs. You can get a massage, exercise, have regular sex. Sex releases a lot of things in your body that make you feel good. It's healthy and important. What about psychological? Are you journaling, being self-reflective? Maybe go to a therapist, talk to friends about feelings, emotions. Maybe reflect. Go somewhere and just sit for a day and reflect about your life, what you want in your life, what you've done that's positive. Give yourself affirmations. What about spiritual? Now, you may not be part of a specific spiritual or religious community, but if you're not, what does spirituality mean to you? The search for meaning or the understanding meaning in your own life is really important. It's a whole part of our existential existence. So whether it's joining some type of religious community or going to church, which may be a part of your life or may not, it could also be understanding your own search for meaning, and that could be philosophical. Really looking at yourself and being introspective about what meaning is to you and what those values are to you is very important. The last two categories are personal and professional. What are your personal needs? Are you reaching out to friends? Are you engaging in social and different types of communities that make you feel a sense of belonging, a sense of togetherness? Professional. Are you achieving your goals with your career? Have you gone to school or had any education in what you feel is important to you? There's always ways that you can build on your knowledge base, whether it be in a traditional school structure or even just seeking out people that are experts in what you want to work on. Are you feeling satisfied with the achievements that you've made at your job? All of these things can be focused on as ways to care about yourself, to build on yourself. Hope you enjoyed my video on self-care. Remember, sometimes it's just as simple as considering how much activity you have, thinking about how much sleep you're getting, and what your eating habits are like. So if you have any questions or comments, comment below on this video. You can always check me out on social media at Dr. Amie Harwick on Instagram, Facebook, or my website, dramieharwick.com. Thanks for watching.